I loved tonight's episode of Supergirl so much. Tonight was a relationship building episode, and it was so great. The bonds between Megan Moores and John Jones were fantastic. Mon-El and Kara were awesome. Mon-El and Win was excellent, and Maggie and Alex was quite great as well. This episode just drew me in the whole time. Roulette, I have to tell you, I loved Roulette, and I love the fact that she's around. So let's just kind of go through the episode bit by bit. And that's the best way to kind of talk about how all these relationships are able to progress. So in the beginning of the episode, an alien has been killed, and they're trying to figure out why. And that's like the beginning of Maggie and Alex's possible friendship, possible relationship. And Kara comes in, and Kara is kind of in shock by how close Maggie and Alex are. And that was covered in the sneak peek, so that was really cool. And in fact, the first three scenes were essentially the three scenes they released in the sneak peek, which I really like because when we finally got to meet Roulette and when it went down with all the Roulette scenes, those were done so well, and I was very surprised. Actually, in all honesty, the only thing that didn't surprise me was the end, but we'll talk about the end at the end of the review. So, so everyone's trying to figure out where, this alien came from, like who could have murdered him and whatnot. But at the same time, we have John Jones and Mon-El and Win. And John Jones is telling Kara and Alex that he met Miss Martian, or Megan Moores. And they're like, go bond with her. Go connect. She's the last daughter of Mars. You need to have that. So every one of his connections with her were great. He goes to meet her at the bar where she works, and she essentially rejects him. There's like this Martian telepathic thing where they can always be in contact with each other. It's actually really beautiful the way they describe life on Mars, and she rejects that. She doesn't want to be that because she's hiding a secret from him. And then, he wants to talk to her, and then when he finds out that she was dealing with the Fight Club, he flips out and tries to essentially discipline her. He's very, very, he's not crude, but he's stern and father-like. And she goes, your family's dead. I don't want to connect with you. I want to move on. And it hits him hard at home. And they were just great. Every bit of interaction they had was so well done. I love who they cast to play Miss Martian. She's quite fantastic. So essentially what happens is they get a lead, and they figure out or Maggie gets a lead, and she takes Alex to go to the Fight Club. And that's where they see the aliens start to interact. That's where they also see Miss Martian interact with one of the aliens, and they realize, she's working with Roulette. And Roulette's introduction was so perfect. It very much reminded me of both Grudge Match and the Cat and the Canary episode of Justice League Unlimited. And then Supergirl comes in. She gets her ass kicked, unfortunately. But, she needs to have that moment. She needs to figure out what to do. And then she talks to Mon-El, who references Warworld, and I thought that was fantastic. To see Mongol at some point in the show, how cool would that be? In Justice League Unlimited, there was an episode, I believe, called For the Man Who Had Everything, and that was actually also done on Supergirl, where we had For the Girl Who Had Everything, where Mongol attached the Black Mercy to Superman, and it locked him in his own world. But there was also an episode in, I believe, season 1 of Justice League where Mongol goes after Superman and whatnot. So I would love to see Mongol do something to Supergirl. I think that would be so cool because he's a powerful villain. Wonder Woman had issues taking him down. So to see Supergirl go up against him would be quite awesome. I think if they had a Supergirl, Miss Martian, Martian Manhunter, and Mon-El try to team up against Monk because he's really strong. He's almost like, I believe he's on level of Darkseid for strength. So I think that would be a fantastic season finale to go to Warworld. So the girls are telling John Jones about Miss Martian, and then, he flips out there to discuss that scene. But then there's a few other scenes in between that where Mon-El and Win are bonding, and Mon-El, he wants to leave the DEO. He's essentially trapped there because they don't know what the full extent of his powers are. And he convinces Win to let him out, and then they go drinking, and Win gets really drunk, and Mon-El, I believe because of his Daxon abilities, he's not able to completely feel the effects of alcohol, which is awesome. And he hurts a couple people, and there's reports, of aliens hurting people from the DEO, so then Mon-El gets disciplined, kind of by Kara at the same time, by John Jones, but they're like, we just don't know the extent of his powers. He needs to stay put. And there's a great scene with Mon-El and Kara at the end of the episode. I know I did say I was going to discuss the episode bit by bit, but I guess it's best to discuss it by scenes that really stuck out to me. So, reconning what I said. So, Essentially, we have a great scene, also in a sneak peek, where Mon-El and Kara bond, and they bond over loneliness, and there's a referencing scenes with Win and him were training, and I really did enjoy that. Win and him have a great friendship, like, it's very solid. And that's like the start of the bonding, the start of a connection that you can see between the two of them, and then that connection is heightened at the end of this episode. And it's very, very fantastic. So let's kind of get towards like the climax, because I don't want to make this review go on for too long. So Roulette relocates the first underground fight club. And by the way, all the people who partake in this underground fight club are people who are like the wealth of National City, which is interesting that like they're betting on aliens. And there's this whole thing where she says, you know, aliens have no rights. And that's something that the president, even though she's an alien, was trying to completely remove. She wants aliens to feel accepted on Earth and have rights, be citizens and whatnot. So it's really crazy. Like it's like such an interesting concept, like to think that aliens are viewed in such a weird light on this show, and I love it. And Kara's an alien. Granted, Kara's, you know, I guess she's an alien, but she's also a U.S. citizen. She's an immigrant, and it's fantastic. So she goes to Lena Luthor, and Lena is able to tell her where Roulette's new underground fight club is, and she stops Roulette. There's a scene in between where Mr. Martian, where J'onn J'onzz goes to get Megan to apologize, and he gets abducted, and they have to fight each other. And then while they're fighting, he pretty much tells her, "I cannot kill you. I'm not going to fight you." And she realizes that she can't fight him either. And then Kara defeats one of the aliens due to the advice of Mon-El. Roulette gets arrested, but then at the same time, Roulette gets released like almost right away. And then following Roulette's release, Alex discovers that Maggie has a girlfriend. And now this episode, every scene, like there's a scene when Alex and Maggie are talking about an alien, to when Alex may go to meet Roulette for the first time, then when Alex and Maggie go corner Roulette. They have tons of interactions together, and you can see a romance really built. It's very obvious. It's very much queer baiting. And then they go, "Oh, she has a girlfriend." And I'm like, does this show need love triangles? Like, is that like this what this show wants? I feel like that was a problem with season 1, when you had a love triangle with Win, Jimmy, and Kara, and then you had a love square with Win, Jimmy, Kara, Lucy Lane. It just was annoying. Like, you don't need love triangles in this show. It's just not something that is. I don't think love triangles work in terms of interestingness with Supergirl. I think that it just needs to be straightforward. And it's Alex. Like, Alex just needs this romance, I feel. I love the character of Alex. I should recon that. I don't think she needs the romance, but I would like to see where she would go with it. And now she's going to have, I guess, conflicting feelings, and will Maggie break up with her new girlfriend? So there's 2 great scenes at the end of the episode where Kara talks to Mon-El about how she was sent to Earth to essentially protect Kal-El, Superman, and now she wants to do that too. She wants to train Mon-El, and you know they're going to be close, and I loved it. I really, really loved it. By the way, the beginning of this episode also showed Mon-El with the Prince of Daxon, which was really interesting, and how the Prince of Daxon, and Daxon, by the way, was really given the shit thrown at them, told Mon-El, "Save yourself. We need you to go. I need you to go." And I thought that was... you know, it's a good way to show that the Daxons don't have the whole reputation that the Kryptonians give them, which is nice. And then, so Kara and Mon-El are bonding. And then she's like, "We're going to train together." And you can see romance sparks. And I like that. I really actually would love them to get together. Now, the big reveal, and I use quotations around the word reveal here, is Megan is shown to be a white Martian. You know, she still doesn't want to do that mental thing with J'onn J'onzz. She still has a connection to him, but she goes and looks in her mirror, and she transforms into the white Martian. And I was kind of wondering when she'd do that, if that would be done in the next episode and whatnot. But I thought, well, at least they did it here. I'm happy about that. But when will she tell J'onn J'onzz? That's where like more drama is going to come. Obviously, the white Martians are the ones that eliminated the entire green Martians. And I want to see those interactions play out, because he's going to flip. He's really going to flip. I forget in Young Justice if J'onn J'onzz knew that she was a white Martian. I think he did. But she flat out said in this episode she's never killed someone. She was the defunct white Martian. She doesn't want to hurt anyone. So I'm looking forward to that. Megan and Kara didn't interact at all, and that's like the interaction I'm really looking forward to. I want Kara to have a like a superhuman girlfriend, and also have Mon-El to be her also superhuman friend / boyfriend, whatever they want to do with it. But I totally would ship Mon-El and Kara Zor-El. That's a fantastic thing. So Lena Luthor was in this episode for 2 seconds. There was no Jimmy Olsen. Snapper Carr was in this episode too, and I'm kind of over Snapper Carr. He was mean to Carr, and then in the end she was able to impress him by saying her sources are Supergirl, but Supergirl's herself, and that makes sense. Like, if you have the ability to have an advocate source, to use it. Good for Carr. It's good for her for impressing him. I just really hate his attitude. It's just not a nice guy. He's just not a nice guy. So Roulette's around, so she could come back, which is exciting. I would like to see Roulette in 1 or 2 more episodes. There's a lot of cool references. We got a Cadmus reference. We got a couple references to Allura. No references to Andastra, even though Kara talked about her parents and Mon-El talked about his parents. So they had a great bonding scene there. And Allura and her husband, whose name I'm blanking on, knew about the destruction of Krypton and didn't do anything about it. So Kara and Mon-El were bonding over that, like, the imperfections of your parents, loneliness. There's a lot of connections between the two of them. It's very, very well done. It's very, very well done. So I love that. I always say that twice, but it's so good. Like, I'm in love with it. Honestly, this episode was a 5 out of 5 stars. The fact that Roulette's going to be around, Mon-El and Kara have a possible romance, Win and Mon-El have a good friendship going on. I like that. I'm looking forward to next week's episode a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the show is going to be having in store for it. So overall, I would say it's a 5 out of 5. We have a lot to do in the future. No Cadmus references. It was mentioned once, but nothing in terms of like what their goal is. But Kara talking about acceptance of aliens was excellent. And the only thing I have to say I'm just kind of upset about is the fact that we had to do another love triangle with Maggie, Alex, and her girlfriend. But I guess in the end, Maggie will pick. So anyway, I thought tonight's episode of Supergirl was fantastic. I've talked about it for way too long now. So share your thoughts about it in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning into my review, and we'll discuss Supergirl real soon. All right, guys. Bye.